This is Austin Liddy Limits, where authors talk to authors about books and the craft of storytelling. Sponsored by Blue Ink Review, because typing the end is just the beginning. Find out more at blueinkreview.com. Mixed Company is a collection of short stories full of insight and humor. Its characters navigate the world full of issues that come up when people of different racial and economic backgrounds are thrown together by circumstances they can't control. A reading by Jenny Shank.
I am Jenny Shank, and I'm going to read the story, or the beginning of the story, Casa del Rey, from my collection, Mixed Company. The dead man's condo sat empty for a year before Venita moved in. We'd called the dead man Portrait and Courage because of the way he used to jog daily on the bike path nearby, despite the awkward hitch to his gait. He moved slower than the pace at which most people walked, but we could tell by the way he pumped his arms that he thought of it as running. Nothing we have to do is that difficult, I'd tell my husband Jamie. We lived in Casa del Rey, a condo complex built in 1979 that was patterned in a faux Southwestern style, with flat roofs, peach stucco, cheap tile, and wrought iron accents. Until we bought the condo, college students had rented it, and it showed. Candle wax trails down the walls, rotted floorboards in the bathroom, dark streaks that looked like bicycle tracks on the ceiling. At some point, climbers had rented it, and there were handholds bolted into the wall in places you'd think only Spider-Man could reach. The day I met Venita, I was almost 3 months pregnant and hauling grocery bags from my car when a mangled Impala drove up, bashed in on every side, its panels bulging, trim sagging, and mysterious clumps of wires snaking free. The sunroof was smashed in as though something round and heavy had crushed it. Its headlights dangled. An orange strap held the front bumper in place. Inside, the car was stuffed with bags, trash, and balled up clothes. The distance from the front seat to back window spanned by a rolled rattan shade and a single crutch. A woman shambled out of the Impala, her long stringy hair piled on top of her head, her glasses magnifying her eyes, which were all pupil. She wore sweatpants that sagged in the butt, one leg hitched higher than the other. "Do you live here?" she demanded. I hesitated. "Yes," I admitted, never able to think of an honest way out of those inescapable opening lines of salespeople and the deranged. "I'm Venita," she said, extending her hand. "Carrie," I said, shaking it. "I'm considering buying the corner unit." She nodded toward Portrait and Courage's condo. "But the parking space assigned to it is too far away. Would you be willing to trade your space?" The crutch made me waver, but then I remembered the baby. "I don't think so. We like our space." "Do you know who owns these cars?" She gestured at the vehicles in the other nearby spaces. I shook my head. She looked like if you so much as told her the time, she'd ask you to jumpstart her car next. I heaved some bags from the trunk and carried them toward my condo. We had been concerned about how long it was taking the empty place to sell, but I'd rather live to Portrait and Courage's mellow ghost than have this specimen for a neighbor. Leaves crunched underfoot behind me. "I'm getting knee surgery in the spring," Venita said, following me down the sidewalk. "You really won't consider trading your space?" "I'm having a baby," I blurted. "I need to park our car close to our house." Something about this woman made me feel I was fighting for control of the space, even though it was already mine. "Oh," she said. "When?" Her question felt invasive, but I brought us down this road. "In April." I thought about that crazy woman in New Mexico who'd cut a pregnant lady's stomach open with her car keys to get at the baby inside. I'd earned my black belt in Taekwondo when I was 12, and I probably still remembered enough to collapse a larynx with the side of my hand. I liked my chances as a pregnant lady in a balls out scrap. "Why don't you call Bruce, the property manager?" I suggested. and see if anybody will trade. I already did. Well, good luck with that. I loaded my arms with too many grocery sacks so I wouldn't have to make a second trip and pulled the door closed behind me.
This has been a presentation of Austin Liddy Limits, made possible with help from our good friends at Blue Ink Review, where typing "the end" is just the beginning. Find out more at blueinkreview.com.